Welcome to A Kid's Life podcast. I'm Angela Lockwood, and for the last 20 years, I have been working in schools, supporting teachers to build inclusive classrooms. Through A Kid's Life podcast, my goal is to help us adults better understand the complexities of life as a kid. My guests and I share stories, reflections, and simple strategies to support kids of all needs as they walk through life. So whether you're looking for inspiration, direction, guidance, tips, or just a laugh, A Kid's Life podcast is the place for you. Enjoy. Welcome to A Kid's Life podcast. I'm Angela Lockwood, and my guest today is one of the most vibrant, energetic, yet calm people I have met. And I'm even looking at her beautiful smiling face right now as we're recording. And she just looks like the perfect balance of energy and calm, which I love. Dr. Ali Young is a chiropractor with a master's in pediatrics. She is also a health and motherhood strategist, which I love and we're going to get into. She's changing the face of healthy working mums' lives, which I love. I am one of those, sometimes not always healthy, but I am definitely a working mum and I have a very full life. So I am going to love speaking with Ali today. She also runs an online course for busy working mums looking to reclaim their health and self, and then bringing the health and heart back to motherhood. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I have just recently pre-ordered her very soon to be released book. Yay! Work.Mama.Life, which we'll talk about. Her podcast is Work.Mama.Life, and she's the owner also of Innate Chiropractic in sunny Gladstone in northern Queensland here in Australia. She's a mother of 2 children, speaker, and now author. You can see why she is very well equipped to help us busy mums be at our best. Welcome to A Kid's Life podcast, Dr. Ali Young.
Yay! Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be on here today. This is great.
I am so excited. I'm exhausted though reading that.
Sometimes I exhaust myself too, don't worry. One of my girlfriends told me last week, she's like, yeah, you are exhausting to be around sometimes. So that makes sense to me.
Well, do you know what? I obviously love your energy. I've met you before, and there's something about people who are very joyful, and this sounds so funny, but that can be exhausting.
Absolutely.
But it's an exhaustion that energizes you, because I think what we do sometimes, don't we, around joy and happiness is sometimes when we're not feeling it, we can look at people who are feeling it and go, oh, it's so easy for you because of all these reasons. But, you know, here I am just reading your bio and you have every reason to be tired and exhausted. So I can't wait to get into how you can stay so vibrant and optimistic and so giving to other mums. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, practice.
Well, let's get into some of those things. I am being partly selfish. I seem to choose guests on my podcast that I say it's all about my listeners, but sometimes I feel like it's me that
I'm also the same.
So I really do want to get straight into the core of things, Ali, is why are mums so stressed today?
Such a good question. And I think it's so pertinent in our times of the last 2 years. I think it's pretty much 2 years to the day since Australia started to go into COVID-related restrictions, so be it lockdowns or changes and upheavals. And I've noticed a huge shift in that time from mums who were coasting along and doing really well and, you know, working and doing all the things, and all of a sudden they got thrust into a motherload of expectations around home education, trying to maintain work, trying not to let their kids be on screens all the time, trying to stay connected to their families and doing things. So we're seeing that the stress load didn't have the opportunities to get out of their system. So normally if we would be stressed, we would find a way to get that stress out. We'd go and move our bodies, we'd connect with some friends, we'd do something fun like that. And a lot of that got taken away from us. And so then our loading of stress has continued to increase. And I feel like it's nearly got to a stage for some mums, like a traumatic pathway where we've now triggered into stress is our constant state of being. And we have to reteach our brains how to get out of that stress state and back into that calm, resilient state again.
It almost feels a little bit uneasy even speaking about it, I think, Ali. Like when you were just saying that, I could feel some little butterflies in my stomach and I'm thinking, oh, yeah, this is an uncomfortable space. Are you finding that the women that you're speaking to are in that uncomfortable space right now of going, I know it, but I'm not really sure how in the world we're going to stop this?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's even to as simple as recognizing that they are functioning in that state, because I think we get to a point where we just keep going and we keep going, and it's become a new normal for us that when we get an opportunity or a reminder to stop and take stock of how we're feeling on the inside and how to ask ourselves, what do we need right now? We're noticing that our body is craving some slowness and some stillness and some quiet. There's so much noise around. We've been surrounded by families a lot, obviously more than perhaps we normally would. And the noise of continual Zooms and the noise of media and governments making announcements all the time, and everything's just really noisy. And so our brains and our bodies just need to quiet. But it amps into a point where we're nearly craving that noise now, because it's become so much part of it that we wake up and we check our phones and digital devices straight away because, and it's just a subconscious thing that you do to see what's going on in the world. And I feel like the last 2 years have amped that up a lot. Yeah.
You know, what really concerns me is sort of 5 years ago, I wrote Switch Off, How to Find Calm in a Noisy World. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I referred to a book that was written 10 years prior to that in my book by Carl Hanor, which was Under Pressure. And he'd sort of pre-warned us that this was all happening. And if we didn't slow down, we're going to have, major fallout in physical and mental health. What my concern is are we actually taking notice? I feel like we've been talking about the speed of life, speeding up. Do you think people are taking notice, and what are you seeing that people are starting to do to hopefully change the situation we're in?
I feel like people are finally starting to take notice because their bodies have hit that burnout point, however that looks for them. And the first thing I see people doing is switching off, I think. We're getting a lot more conscious downtime away from screens and input, and a lot more calmness. There's a big shift in the world, I think, around finding calm and trying to connect back intuitively to what that might look like for them as an individual. And so for some people, calm is moving heavy objects in the gym. And for some people, it's walking in nature or swimming at the beach or having a short 10-second cold shower, something that just gets their body back into itself again. And I think that's where we're navigating, mums trying to find a way that's easy for them to put in their week to get that calm, to start that chain of events.
What are some of the things that you do? I love thinking, you listen to people and they're talking about all these tips and strategies, and I think, I wonder what you do. So I'm interested. Yeah. What are some of the things that help you find calm throughout your day?
Number one is my cold shower. So I always finish my shower on cold because it gets my vagus into this really happy place, which at this time of the year in sunny central Queensland, super easy to do. In wintertime, it's a lot harder to do. But anyway.
That's a good one. I've never thought of that. Finishing off your shower cold.
Yeah. So 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever you can do. And if it's really hard for you, just put your hands in. I'm now at a point where I can fully do my whole body, but I think it took me, when I started that when I was in burnout, I couldn't do more than arms for ages. And it took me a long time for my body to take the coldness on. So it's kind of like an ice bath, but you're doing it in your shower, way easier than putting an ice bath in your backyard. So that is definitely my number one. And moving slowly. So I was a very big, busy, heavy mover. Like I love HIIT workouts. I played state touch football. There was a lot of that in my history. And as the world changed and burnout came in, I found I needed to move slowly but intentionally. So going for a walk in nature every morning, I take the kids. Yes, there's whinging and they don't like it, but that is another one of my strategies, that if we get that in, some movement in the morning, and sometimes I can't take the kids or it's not the right day for it. So I do an 11-minute yoga off YouTube, and that's enough to get my brain into a different space. So they're definitely my two best ones. And making sure I drink enough water. It
Oh,
sounds so,
chronic water. Yes.
yeah.
Water or dehydration, chronic
Oh, it
dehydration, I
causes
should
so
say.
many issues.
One of the things I loved over sort of the last 2 years was being online. One of the good thing is everyone was online. So all your yoga and Pilates and workouts and everything all came online. So Joe Wicks. I
Yeah.
had completely forgotten his name then, but Joe Wicks,
Oh,
the
he
body
was great.
coach. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, like he was doing all this cool stuff for kids. So I was
Yeah.
intrigued by that. But then I realized all these other activities. So I would get in there and just do like a 25-minute, who am I kidding? Sometimes I did the 15-minute one. Sometimes I did the 7-minute ab workout. But it was there, right? And you
Yeah.
knew, and I could feel in my body so much when I didn't do it, how tight I felt or how uptight I felt as well when I didn't do that movement. So there was a lot of stuff I think hopefully people tapped into over that time that they wouldn't normally
That
have
they
done.
can continue on. And you know what's interesting is that I find as mums, everything that we do is in the what I call a bipedal motion. So we're straight forward and back, and moving sideways and rotating through our spine is actually really, really important for our brain. So walking in nature is good because you get the beautiful nature input. But what's even better is like something that involves a rotation type movement. So that's why I like the yoga or at-home workouts, because we move sideways, we rotate, it does a different arc of motor planning in our brain, and that's really good for us, and it's really good for our kids as well. So trying, like you said, Joe Wicks stuff was really brilliant. That Cosmic Kids Yoga, I love that. Just pop it on in the mornings and the kids are like, and they're finished and they're just in a different space. Yeah.
I love that. I started Reformer Pilates after I had sort of a knee reconstruction and back injuries and all this stuff that showed me I wasn't young anymore. But I realized when all sort of things went into lockdown and that stopped, again, like just how much your body seizes up when you're not in that type of movement. And I think that's a really big reminder for all of our listeners that, and I love that sense of the backwards and forwards motion. We're always on that sort of unilateral really motion, but I love that. I can really picture that in my mind that we've got to be in all full movement to really get the benefits.
And that's why, like, I give kids often climbing wall work. So we've got a really long lateral climbing wall in the town around. I'm like, you need to go there 2 or 3 times a week and go around it a few times, because they just don't move their bodies in that way, and it just changes everything. And for us as mums who are busy sitting at a desk often, working straight in front of us, then walking to and fro, leaning up and down, it's really good.
While we're talking about kids, that's where my heart lies. I love my parents, but I love my kids as well. How are you seeing stress? Like everything that the kids have been through, what we've been through, kids are going through as well. What are you seeing stress manifesting like in the kids that you're working with?
Yeah, so I guess our chiropractic practice is maybe a little different to what people expect. It's not a big bone crunchy type of experience. It's more neurodevelopmental. But the big thing I'm noticing is big posture shifts. So we're seeing kids turning up with a forward head carriage, and we can easily blame it on screens and devices. And yes, that's definitely increased. But we also know that our brain, when we're stressed, moves us into that forward posture because it's getting ready to help us run fast away from the lion that's chasing us down the street. So we're seeing that in kids as well as adults. And we need to really help them learn how to fire those back of the neck and middle of the back muscles again. So get those extensors happening, because that helps their whole body to feel calm and safe. I'm also seeing kids show up worried about things that they probably historically wouldn't be worried about. And small things, their threshold has definitely altered, and we're seeing those thresholds lower.
That's where my heart sort of drops when I hear other health professionals saying that, because kids are very aware around what's going on in the world, and as we do as adults, our mental health and physical health are just so closely connected. They're interconnected really, and same for our kids. So what can parents be, particularly mothers, be really mindful of right now with their own health and well-being, of how they can be good role models for their kids? And I think I will get to the question in a sec, but I think what we've got to realize too is that we're all trying our best, aren't we? And I know that you really, you work with mothers all the time, that we're all trying our best, but going to sources that are credible, like you, Ali, who live and breathe this every day. You see the kids, you see the mums. I think it's important for parents to jump off Google and go to credible sources, because otherwise it can add to the overwhelm of all the things that we're not doing, and it becomes this vicious circle. So how can we as mums be mindful of our own health? What are some of the things we can do so our kids can learn the good stuff from us?
Yeah, I think there's 5 simple tools. And in my book, Work.Mama.Life, it's quite an in-depth thing in this, but I think the key element, like you said, is we want to avoid overwhelm for mums when we are thinking about our health. And so we often speak about you take one thing out and put one thing in. So you're not trying to do 1,000 new things. You're just choosing one element. And modeling our health can go in the 5 core areas. So we can do it through food. And I think for me, getting my kids to help me prepare the food is the easiest way for me to help model healthy food to them. And when they're involved in that, even if it's sitting at the kitchen bench and cutting some carrots or not carrots, they're too hard, cucumbers, things like that, that I find that they're more likely to eat it and they understand how everything comes together. So they can watch me eat a salad, but then being prepared and helping make it definitely makes them more likely to eat it. So that's really good. Thinking and calm. I love sitting with my kids and just saying, I'm journaling now. Do you want to get a book and write out your thoughts in your brain? And my daughter particularly really loves doing that. And my son will do yoga. So if I'm doing a morning yoga, I'll always put a kids yoga on afterwards, because they will just do it because they've seen mum do it, and it's just the normal thing. And movement is the same. Like I said, I love to move with the kids and take the kids with me when I'm doing exercise. Yes, it's frustrating because it means I'm not getting that as intensity of workout, but I'm getting their beautiful family connection time, and I'm getting them moving their bodies, and it just becomes a habit that we get up and we take the dog for a walk and we go in the bush and we do some movement. And I think that's a really important modelling that we can do. Sleep is the unforgotten health benefit for mums, because we often want to stay up late so that we can get that alone time for ourselves, but making sure that we get enough sleep is great, and encouraging our kids to sleep. My daughter definitely is sensitive soul, so she uses a meditation every night now to help her go to sleep, and we're just writing that. We're like, well, it won't be a forever thing, and if it is it a bad thing? No, guided meditation to help her sleep, just off YouTube. But giving her the tools to do that, I think, was really good. And the final thing, I think, is our kids need to see us being joyful and fun, and finding ways to do that. Like, connection is such an important thing for mums. Our brains are designed to have connection with people. That's what makes us so human. That's why dogs love dog parks, right? Because they're connecting with their people and they love sniffing butts. And us as mums, we love connecting with our friends as well. And so I like to make a priority of making sure my kids understand that when we're doing that. Like, I went away for a conference on Friday to speak at, but I was like, they're like, why? You could just Zoom in. I'm like, I could Zoom in, but I want hugs from my friends and I really want to see my people. And they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I like seeing my people too. So, just having those conversations, I think, is really, really important too. Yeah.
And what I just heard through all of that too is the importance of you role modeling to your kids. So, you do yoga, they follow up with yoga, you take them for a walk, so they come on a walk with you in nature, and having those, journaling. And is that what you're finding when we're really busy as mums? Sometimes we forget that our kids are watching.
Yeah, I think that's easy. And it's really easy for them to jump on a screen. Like, when I'm busy and working, I do it as well. I'm like, if I'm home and they're home, I'll be like, well, you just go watch a movie for an hour and I'm going to do some work. And yes, sometimes we've got to do that. But other times they'll come in and help me do the things, which is really nice as well. But yeah, it is really easy when we're busy and in that rushing mindset to get into that mode. Yeah.
Ali, for anyone that's listening who is feeling they're in that real cycle of overwhelm right now and are thinking, that all sounds lovely, but holy moly, my head is going under this water right now.
Yeah.
Have you got any sort of, not advice, I guess, but what do you recommend, being a health professional as well, and, obviously a leader in looking after mums' well-being as well? Can you recommend for any of those mums that are feeling like I'm just coping right now?
Yeah, I think finding someone to support you right now is really important. So be it call in your best friend, your partner, a health professional, someone that you can sit with and go, I'm really struggling, and choose just one thing for you that's really easy and take back a control of what you know you innately need. Do something that you feel like you're in control of that, because a lot of that overwhelm from the conversations with the mums is because they feel like they're doing everything for everybody else and they've lost the ability to know even what they want for themselves. And so if you can find that again and get that control of one little tiny thing in your day, it starts that beautiful serotonin and dopamine pathway of, oh, I have got this, I've totally got this. And then maybe, just maybe, it will ping you into doing another one and then another one.
Yeah, I think sometimes too we have to listen to our kids, don't we? Like I have a teenage son and I'd like to hope that my children are quite intuitive kids. Actually, I know they're very intuitive kids. And I remember I was driving with my son a few months ago and I got off the phone, it was on hands-free for those people that just freaked out thinking, oh my gosh, she's on the phone. I was hands-free and I got off and I just went, just did this like big, sigh. And he said, Mum, why do you offer help to everybody when it stresses you out?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Ali, I wanted to push him out of the car at the same time as hold him so close and go, oh my gosh, my beautiful child. I was in this, I was in this really, he could see, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
And what I loved about that is it started a conversation that I actually asked him for his advice. Now, he's a 14-year-old boy. And I said, well, what are you seeing I'm doing, mate? And had this beautiful conversation. And I will say it was at that point in my life-changing conversation. Yeah, and it was through the eyes of my kids. And I realized that, maybe I was just offering everyone help. So to anyone I've offered help who's, I normally offer help with, and now I'm saying, no, you can blame my son, but no.
But that's part of the control thing, that reclaiming of no and learning how and when to say it too, because it's so easy to say yes. And I'm the world's biggest people pleaser, and it's definitely been one of my things as well.
So what led you to write? So actually, we haven't really mentioned this much, and I'm so excited. You've got Work.Mama.Life, your new book coming out on the 1st of April, which is so exciting. As I said, I've pre-ordered it. I can't wait for it to come. Why did you decide right now is an important time to write a book like this for mum? So Work.Mama.Life. And I love the title, by the way.
Which came to me on a nature bushwalk. So there you go.
Tell me why. Why did you write it? Why the title? And what can mums expect in this book that's different?
Yeah. I went through burnout at the beginning before COVID. So my body went into full this is not okay mode, Ali. And in coming through that, I realized, well, if I'm a health professional who knows all these things and that still happens to me, there's going to be other people out there. And then COVID happened. And then I got asked about writing a book and I was like, well, yes, let's do this, because I think it's a really important thing. So it is from burnout and overwhelm to abundant joy, health and vitality. So it's all for mums who are feeling that pressure of life and different ways that we can navigate it. So the first part of the book is about our motherhood experience. So we dive into the perfect mother myth. We look at the societal expectations on mothers and how that's driving a health epidemic, in my view. And we talk a lot about brains in a fun way. It's not too nerdy.
Oh, come on, Ali. You're a Dr. Ali Young. There'd have to be a little bit of nerd in there, surely.
There's a lot of nerd in there, but it's I wrote it in as little nerd speak as I possibly could. But you heard me mention Vegas before. There's a lot of chat about Vegas and about how
that's not Las Vegas, by the way.
No,
where you go
but what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas in your body, but what happens in Vegas does stay in Vegas in Las Vegas. Apparently, I've never been.
Well played. Well done.
Yeah, I know. I love that one. But yeah, so the first part is all about that. And then the second part is the mama journey. So it's the 5 pillars to healthy motherhood. So I give you all the different tools in the toolkit that are really simple and a bit of the why behind it, of why that's important. And then the life section is, well, how the hell do I put this in my life? Because that is overwhelming if you look at all of it at once. So we go through strategies to simplify and make it an easy way. So by the end of the book, you should actually have a really beautiful plan of attack, basically, to rejig simply and easily out of overwhelm and find that happy, joy, healthy, vital self again, which is really cool.
You've just touched on a word. Actually, I have these 3 letters in wood carvings on the wall in my family room, and it is joy. Why do you think we've lost joy, and how can we get some joy back? Because even just saying the word joy, it makes you feel good. And you look joyful. Like, what is it about? What is it about joy that makes us feel so great?
Yeah, well, we've got this part in our brain that thrives on joy. And what's really amazing, and I was researching the book when I discovered this, is that we can actually train our brain to be more receptive for joy, and we can get a bigger joy point within our neurology. So the more we seek joy and find things that make us joyful, the more we are receptive and aware of the joy in the world. And I think for me in my 20s, I was a career woman, no kids until my mid-30s, and I always had joy come up as an important value for me, but I never acknowledged it because, a serious career person doesn't have joy as an important thing. And it's not until going through this journey that I've realised that if we as mums can find some of those joy moments again, it actually changes the way our brain fires, which is just so good for us. So it could be as simple for joy as finding an old song that you loved that brings back a really nice memory, or pulling an old dress out of the cupboard and, shimmying around with it. It might be going on a holiday to a place you went as a kid that has a joyful memory. So it can be really, really simple. Ours is definitely music in our house. Music is our big joy point here. And I am very slowly teaching my kids all the words to the bad 90s hip hop, and I love myself for it because it brings my joy, and they think they're cool because they're like being ironic. And
until they go to school and sing it to their kids.
No, we do clean versions. They go to a Catholic school, we'll get kicked out.
I'm hearing Eminem here right now.
Oh, yeah. So we're sticking with like Gangster's Paradise at the moment.
I love a Spotify playlist I've put together, like that my feel good driving. I'm always seem to feel like I'm in the car taking a child to something. And I tell you what, it just transforms me when I hear Roxette, like I'm going to show my age here. Roxette, Meatloaf, God rest his soul. Actually, both of those, God rest their souls. Jeez. And yeah, all those, that sort of Starship.
Oh, Starship. Journey.
Yeah. Toto, Africa. My gosh, we could keep going. But that sort of playlist, as soon as I put it on, I know that I feel great. And my kids look at me like, are you mad? But then they start laughing, and then, I'm rocking it out. And the fact that I know some of the songs that they are like, how do you know that song? I'm like, it's because it's the reversion of it now. Like, come on, kids. Exactly. I was cool back then. So having that joy. And I think it can feel uncomfortable a little bit, can't it? Like joy. I think, I know there's a lot of research around joy being the opposite to fear. They're very closely linked almost as well. So stepping out of our comfort zone and being okay with being a bit of a goose.
And I think that when the world is heavy, having a way to shift your state energetically is really, really important. And that is where the joy fits so perfectly. Because like you said, we can be in that fear brain that we don't even realize that we're in. So we can test your oxygen saturation rates and measure your HRV, and it's going to tell us that you're stressed, but you won't necessarily feel stressed. But then we can get that joy point happening, and it's like, that's so much better.
You've just touched on something that was I went to my doctor, which I don't often do. I'm very, very rarely sick. And I actually wasn't sick. I was just feeling a little bit fat and frumpy.
Yes.
I wasn't feeling like I was a bit puffier than normal. And luckily my GP is a friend, and I went in there and I had a chat to her, and I said, look, I'm feeling like this. And she just looked at me and she goes, and you're just overweight and not looking after yourself right now. I know this was a while ago. And I remember, again, it seemed that moment where I was feeling really supported, but also I was like, I don't know what to do right now. But it was the best thing that she said to me, because it woke me up that there actually wasn't anything wrong with me. I didn't need to get a blood test. I didn't need to do anything else except stop running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yes.
take some time, practice what I preach, read my own book, and actually just slow things down. And it was interesting that I was looking for a medical reason to explain why I was feeling the way that I was, when actually it was just I needed to press pause and look after myself and rest and eat well and move and do these amazing things that you're now sharing, with people as well, which is just so important.
So important. Yeah.
So April Fool's Day is when Work.Mama.Life comes out. Now, when we're talking about joy, did you choose that date, Ali?
No, they told me, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good date. And then I went, hang on, it's April Fool's Day.
See, that in itself is joyful. April Fool's Day is when Work.Mama.Life comes out. Now, is it, of course, it's in all the great bookstores. Any terrible bookstores that are boring won't have it?
No, boring bookstores definitely don't have it. But you can get it online at Amazon and Booktopia and Dimmicks. They're the big three, I think, in Australia. And it will be in bookstores. So, yeah.
Yeah. And look, I invited Ali on, everyone, to not to plug her book, but I think you all really need to read Ali's book. Her stuff is so simple yet powerful. It's embedded in science, but it's also very practical. You can implement it as a very stressed out mum, but even as a woman if you're not a mum, but you've lost touch with your health and your vitality and joy, then this is a book really that you need to read. And for anybody else who, if you think, I want more than the book, then of course, Ali's got all of her beautiful programs that are on her website. So what is it, Ali? Sorry, draliyoung.com.
draliyoung.com. Yeah, DRALIYOUNG.
draliyoung.com. Now, Ali, right now, things are in a pivotal stage, particularly here in Australia again. We've just had a lot of floodings. We've had a lot, natural disasters, COVID. Schools have been a little bit in chaos.
Yes.
What's one thing right now that mums can do other than buying your book and learning all the different strategies? What is one thing that mums can do right now just to start the journey of feeling happy, healthy, vibrant, energetic, all these amazing things you talk about?
Two things I'd love each mum to do is hug their kids morning and night for 30 seconds each to get that connection, because that changes their brain, and just get outside every day with their feet on the grass or the sand or whatever they need to do, and just stand there and breathe really beautiful, deep, soulful breaths. We talk a lot about box breathing in my world, where we imagine there's a box and we breathe in for a count of 4, hold it in for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4, hold it out for a count of 4. Standing in the grass, staring at some trees, doing that breath work for like 2 to 5 rounds will immediately feel a calmness in their system that maybe they're not feeling. And I do that sitting at my computer desk between patients in my practice. Like, it's a really simple tool to just take that breath and calm down again.
Cuddles and breathing. I think they're two things we can 100% do. And Dr. Ali Young, thank you so much. I always love speaking to you, listening to your own podcast on Work.Mama.Life. And I can't wait for the book. I'm so excited for you, because I know this will be the information that people are really needing to hear right now. But I do encourage you, when you read the book, everybody, please start to make some of the changes, because the world needs you. Actually, do you know what? Your family needs you. And from my perspective, your kids need you, and they want this gorgeous mum that they can look up to and see that's how I can do life and be amazing.
Beautiful ripple effect that it starts as a mother, and then it's just like that pebble in the ocean. It goes to the kids and out to the community. And that's what I'm really trying to help our mums be.
Yay, mums. God love you. Big cuddle to all the mums that are listening, and to all those women who are championing their own health and well-being too. So Dr. Ali Young, thanks so much for being on a Kids Life podcast.
Thanks for having me.
And so that was Dr. Ali Young joining me today. All of the links to where you can buy the Work.Mama.Life, her newly released book on the 1st of April from Booktopia and all leading bookstores, are all linked underneath, and to all of her wonderful programs that you can connect in with her about. But I'm sure you can agree with me that you can feel Ali's energy and love of life and really deep care of making sure that our mums are looked after just through this conversation. So if you want to know of any other programs that are available, please go to draliyoung.com. And for any other support programs that you're wanting to learn about how you can better support your own children on sort of be their best, please go to angelalockwood.com.au and you can check out my program, Confident Kids, on there. So thanks for joining me, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And until next time, enjoy. Thank you for listening to a Kids Life podcast. To stay up to date on all the new episodes, please subscribe on all the places where podcasts are found. If you want to learn more about my teacher and parent programs, please go to angelalockwood.com.au. Until next time, slow down, have fun, and take care of our kids.